Okay guys, you got two knives in front of you here, and the reason why I'm making this video is because you don't want to use a traditional hunting knife for a survival knife. And the reason is because if you take a look at this knife right here, this is the traditional hunting style knife. And even though this is marketed as a survival paracord knife, this is something that I would use for survival. And I wouldn't use this. And the reason why, excuse me, this knife is not a full bladed tang. And what I mean by that is the blade, if you can't tell on the handle, the blade will either stop about right here, or it'll be a rat tail, which will be all the way down. And in this case, most traditional knives are a rat tail knife. And what that means is part of the blade will come all the way down in here, and then some way or another a threaded rod or something that'll hold the end of the cap on, this cap right here, threaded rod or some type of piece of metal will be welded to the blade itself. And that's weak because that weld spot is the weakest point of this knife. So you wouldn't want to be doing any type of survival activities with this, like especially batoning, because you would break that off inside here and then you're screwed. And another thing is, typical hunting knives the blade thickness aren't that great. On a hunting knife, it really doesn't matter because typically a hunting knife should be only used for skinning or processing a animal, and that's the only thing it should be used for. They're not made to take a beating like certain knives are. And I'm not saying this applies to every hunting knife marketed as hunting. If it's a full tang hunting knife, that's more power to you. You know, you're set. But if you have a traditional hunting knife like this, see, this handle's basically fake. There's nothing keeping this handle on there except this cap. And like I said, the tang is down about here, and then a rod, threaded rod, is actually welded on it, and then this cap screws on it. And the only reason why I know that's because I fixed this knife. The handle was loose, so I took it apart. So if you're unsure about your knife, double check. I'm not saying to break your knife or anything, but more chances are not, if you can't see the tang, it's not a full tang knife. And the reason why you want a full tang knife, as I mentioned, for batoning. If you don't know what that is, go ahead and look it up. It's where you just put your knife on a log that you've cut, and you want to take another stick and basically knock your knife in the center of the log all the way down to the end of the bottom of the log or piece of wood to split it for firewood. And I'm telling you, there's so much force put on a blade when you do that, especially this thickness, is that, to me, it wouldn't even be worth trying, because you could break your blade. It'll shatter. Actually, it could even shatter your blade if it's too thick or too thin. Unlike this one, where it's a real thick blade, it's a real hard steel. That's another thing. You want something that's going to be a real hard steel, because you want it to last, and you want it to be resistant to rust also, depending on your situation. Stainless steel is preferred, but this one will work. And, you know, like I said, it's marketed as a survival knife, but it doesn't have to be an actual knife that's marketed as a survival knife. You can use, like I said, a hunting knife that's full tang. There's no problem in that. I actually have a few hunting knives that are full tang from the point of the blade all the way to the back of the handle. But if you use something like this in your bug out bag or survival bag or something, you might as well put that to the side and get you a real knife that's all metal. I mean, I don't know if it was just for looks when they started making that design back in the day, but you know, now everybody's going to the full tang because it's even stronger. There's no points of breakage, where on this one it would be where that threaded rod was welded, because if they didn't weld the threaded rod right inside that handle and it snaps off, your blade will pull right out of that handle and it'll be useless. So like I said, I just wanted to make this video to tell you that, you know, don't use this type of style of knife for survival. You know, use something more like this along the lines that's full tang and a real thick blade, and you'll get by a lot better and you won't have any problems. So alrighty guys, as always, thanks for watching.